Greetings. I've been asked for some time now to do a short video about one of the ways in which travel affects us when we come home, and that is what it does to our house. Now, my house would be considered by many people to be perhaps a little bit eccentric, and that's because I like to fill it with junk that I've collected from all the way around the world. And so what I want to do today is give you a little bit of a tour of some of the highlights, if you can call them that. So here we are. We are in my living room, and as you can see, it's not a very big house, but if we go over here, there's some of the pictures from when I've been travelling. The top one is me in Albania, me in Bosnia, me in Germany. These are all of India. And over there, that is Chernobyl, Transnistria and Romania. I love to have these little reminders of places I've been. And here are quite a few of them up here. I love my knickknacks. The first one, that's from the Philippines. It's quite a humorous one. I can't reach it up, otherwise I'll show you why it's humorous. Got a little lady there from Vietnam. And that plate comes from the Palace of the People in Romania, which is the second largest building in the world, built by Ceausescu. That one is a little cheap souvenir I bought from Kuala Lumpur, with the then tallest buildings in the world, the Petronas Towers. And that there is a great Filipino jeepney. They are modified jeeps that the Filipinos use for absolutely everything. They're brilliant. Next across is one of the souvenirs I got from the Golden Temple in India. That's the 10 Sikh Gurus with the Golden Temple. I love the Golden Temple. I found it such a serene place. And far less serene is the little blue car next to it. That is a Trabant from East Berlin. Carrying on the vehicle theme, we have a little tuk-tuk from India. And then moving across, we have two little Japanese ladies sat under an umbrella and a traditional Filipino house. Okay, we're going to go round a bit, and this is something that I'm particularly proud of. It's not really a souvenir of travel, but it's my certificate of noble title from the Principality of Sealand. Sealand is a self-declared kingdom or principality situated in the North Sea on an old fort. And if you do great service to the Principality of Sealand that I have, it's not about 30 quid, paying 30 quid at all, then you get to be made a noble. So there we are. So I am actually Lord Matthew Poynton, Lord Poynton of Sealand. Okay, here we are. This fan is from Vietnam. That seems to be a local style where they inlay it with pearl. And the picture shown is the temple at Hue. I loved Hue. It was probably my favourite city in Vietnam. And you go along the river and you come to that temple. It's also famous for being the temple where the monk who immolated himself, the guy who burnt himself to death in Saigon was based. And his car you can still see there. The picture underneath is by my brother, who's quite a famous artist. That one's from a Shakespearean play, I think. No, telling a lie, it's from Canterbury Tales. Okay, what we've got here, the Islamic pottery, that's from Konya, the shrine of Mevlana Rumi in Konya. And then we have this great little screen. In fact, I'm going to get the screen down because I quite like the screen. I bought that last year from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And what it does is it shows the stages of life. So there we have the baby, childhood, growing up and studying. I'm not quite sure which one of those is marriage. I think that one's marriage. I think that one's falling in love. Starting a family. Children have left home, and there they are, the old couple. And that's the stages of life in a traditional Korean screen. The chunky wooden car is, of course, from Cuba. It's one of the old American cars that were left over after the revolution. And the clock tower up there, it's a candle actually. It's called the Four-Faced Liar. And that was a present to me by some Irish friends who live in Cork. It's the symbol of Cork. And it's called the Four-Faced Liar because apparently there's a clock on every side and they're always all the wrong time. The flag, if you haven't recognised it, is that of Nagorno-Karabakh, an unrecognised republic in Armenia. And there we have the tower. It's the Burj Khalifa, isn't it, in Dubai? A really, really classy glass model of it. And the plate I'm particularly proud of. That plate says Bon Voyage, Uncle Travelling Matt. That was a gift from my students at the prison where I used to work. So I was really quite touched by that. Moving down, we get into the really tacky stuff. We have a little reindeer from Norway there. A little begging man. I think he's Japanese. This one is actually not from my travels. A friend gave me that. And these are from North Carolina. And it's something that they make tea in, or moonshine. Okay, and that came free from Greggs. That was a present from a friend in the Netherlands, obviously traditional Dutch pottery in a pig form. And this is from the Wieliczka salt mines near to Krakow. And those are actual solid lumps of salt, and you can lick them. Yeah, if you're that way inclined. It's quite interesting because that one looks quite white. This one's a kind of peachy orange colour, but when you actually see them in the mine, they come out green for some reason, which is quite remarkable. Anybody who's lived in Japan will understand why I have a huge Hello Kitty. And there's a little thing I picked up from a market in Russia. Okay, moving round a bit more. So, naturally, Che Guevara from Cuba. And the clock I'm particularly proud of. The clock is of Stalin, and that was bought from Stalin's birthplace, which you can actually see the bottom. Doesn't work very well though. Now these I'm rather proud of. They're not from my travels, but actually students made them for me. The Vietnamese students made them for me in prison. This one actually does say Matt in the coloured folded paper, but it's not clear, to be honest. And I mean, that was taking hours and hours and hours. I was really touched by the fact they made those. And moving on round, that was a painting by my grandmother, who was also a very, very notable artist. And the crucifix I bought, well, I bought it in Japan, but it's an Italian crucifix, because I knew an Italian nun there. The shield, I have to say, a friend of mine gave me that. I didn't go to Kenya to get that, wish I had. And here's an area that I'm particularly proud of. This is my little dictator corner, you might call it. So, what do we have? We have Stalin from his birthplace museum. This is something I bought from Tiananmen Square. It's badges of great Chinese revolutionary figures or generals. This, of course, is Ho Chi Minh himself. These are the busts that are in every school or business in Vietnam. So this is a genuine one of those. But what he's got on his head is an armband from the 26th of July movement, which is the revolutionary movement in Cuba. The Russian dolls, I bought these in China, in Xinjiang, in the far west. And they're Chinese leaders. So you see, there we have Mao. And after Mao, there's Deng Xiaoping. It's really difficult to open these with one hand while the other's holding the camera. There's Zhou Enlai. Oops. And there's Sun Yat-sen. And, oh, that's it. I actually thought there was a Karl Marx in there, but obviously not. Going back to my dictators. There is, of course, Tito. I bought that in Sarajevo. And this one is a souvenir from the DMZ, or the Joint Security Area, which is where the two Koreas meet. And there is a DPRK border guard and an ROK border guard. And I love the fact that they've managed to make cheesy cartoon characters out of death and military tension. And this one I bought in China. It's Mao and Zhou Enlai. And there's, of course, a postcard of Che Guevara. Little Korean doll there. The railway plate, that's actually the railway that I used to work as a volunteer. Many years. Beautiful place, the Foxhill Steam Railway. Go there, it's ace. And this is a famous image. It's called a Kosovo Maiden, and it's a famous image of Serbian nationalism, of a Kosovan girl, or a Serbian girl at least, offering succor to Prince, I think it's Prince Lazar, after the Battle of Kosovo. The painting above it is actually the prison where I used to work, Dumbo and the Prisoners. And then the scroll, I bought that one in Japan. And I love this scroll because it always reminds me of John Bunyan's To Be a Pilgrim. And there we have the pilgrim on his bridge going towards the town where he's tempted, and then he goes up, and the distant goal is, of course, the mountain at the top. The picture behind, that's my son when we went to Paris on the Seine River trip. Now, here's one of my highlights. This is my altar. People who know me well know that I am religious, and I love icons. So that icon is a very cheap one. Somebody bought it me out of a charity shop, but I find it a very beautiful and moving icon. And then this that says Ein Tad is actually Welsh for our father, and I have a very good friend who is a sculptor in Wales, and he's a sculptor who concentrates on calligraphy, and he does a lot of gravestones and that kind of stuff, but he did that for me. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Moving down, we have little bits and pieces from all the sites of pilgrimage that I've been to. So we have St. Wolstan's Cathedral in Worcester, Jerusalem, of course, Walsingham, Bethlehem, Holywell in North Wales, Walsingham again, York Minster, St. Melangeth Shrine in North Wales, Hereford Cathedral, St. David's Shrine, Walsingham again, that was one in Italy. This is a Vietnamese Mother Mary in Vietnamese national dress in luminous grey plastic. If that isn't unique, I don't know what is. The better figurine of Our Lady is Our Lady of Walsingham. There's Julian of Norwich as well. That's a Cuban Our Lady. The other icon I bought from Romania, and there are Saint Theodora. It was her cave that I went to when I went to a monastery in Romania. It was remarkable. And this one, Father Zeep, he's much beloved by the Vietnamese Catholic community, and I went to his shrine when I lived there. There's Medjugorje water. This one is actually the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron, and that's split half between the Muslims and half between the Jews. I went to the Jewish half because there was a Muslim service on at the time. A remarkable place, so they're very tragic because of the divided nature of that town. St. Kieran of Clonmacnoise, an island, and some various others as well. Okay, so that's the main highlights of the living room, if highlights they be. So let's go on, and I'm going to go up the stairs. I like beer, so they're my beer labels from different countries, as you can see. These are all Bulgarian ones, and the place where I put all my letters is the only souvenir I have from Singapore. This one's quite a little special thing there. It says a 4 and 6. This is from the Ashes, when I went to watch England beat Australia in the Ashes. Okay, I'm going up the stairs now, and we have a papyrus from Egypt. I was flogged that against my will, as I think many people are when they go to Egypt. That's another painting by my brother there, of me with my grandmother. But the small painting, well, it's not a painting, the small picture next to it was a gift to me from one of the headmasters of a primary school where I worked in Japan. And that's a handmade anime image Prayer of St. Francis, one of my favourite saints. And here we are, it's knick-knack time again. This one is Rumi, or the Mevlana, whose tomb I went to in Konya in Turkey. And this is actually a short story of mine that won a competition. So, no, I don't think it was actually one of my better ones. Going up here, we have another Russian doll. I won't get this one out. That was from Qatar, and it turns out as a whole Arabian family. Portugal, of course. That's Japan. That's my ex-wife. Yeah, can't see why I didn't stay with her. And this is the bridge over the River Drina in Visegrad in Bosnia. The Ivo Andrić, there he is. He wrote a Nobel Prize-winning novel. But beautiful town, but very tragic, as a lot is in Bosnia. That was a case that a mobile phone came in with in Bulgaria. The phone got stolen, but I quite like the case. And we have more dictator kitsch. And this is Enver Hoxha, who was the ruler of socialist Albania. And there is, I think he's Albanian. I think he's an Albanian shepherd. Again, anybody who's lived in Japan will know who Doraemon is. There's more from Albania. It's a Tirana. Ho Chi Minh's tomb. Gangnam Style. These are local buses, by the way. And that is from a train in Poland. And Guru Nanak from the Golden Temple. I got that. And this is Ampelman. Ampelman was the crossing man in East German crossings. So, and we shake it up, and there he is. You see, he's in a storm, but there's also lots of Trabants floating around him. I quite like that. We have more Albanian kitsch here. This one, actually, there is a story behind this, and if you read my Albanian excursions, the story is told in there. And there's a little memory of Tokyo. Okay, now here's some of my photos. This was the guys I lived with at university, with the housemates, and that was our Happy Pancake Day card. And these were some of the guys that I used to teach in the prison. So there's me, and there's some of the international criminal community. Fantastic guys. Yeah, that's my son. This was on one of my first travels. This is at the Wailing Wall with my two excellent Kiwi friends and two Bulgarian friends. And then this is in the same time when I was traveling through Israel, one of my first ones. They called us the Three Musketeers, and that's my Dutch friend and a Swiss friend. Going on a bit more, we have more dictators. There's some pictures from my travels around the world. And finally, I'm going to finish off in the toilet. This toilet is a shrine to everything Dutch. And it is actually the unofficial Dutch embassy within Stoke-on-Trent, as you can see. And it has been in the paper for being so. There was an article published about it. So I will leave you in the Netherlands, where you can relax in style. Keep traveling.